Let my blood turn this dirt to mud. What you waiting for? I'm ready right now. Hands up, I sound, it's a stick-up kid.
I do this because I want people to learn about, hey, I don't want to get in, to martial arts. You didn't want to get to martial arts either, but you did.
Yeah, everybody's story is different, and it's just so cool to hear how it's not your prototypical person that gets into martial arts, right? It's always everybody's story is unique and everybody's story is different. But undoubtedly you speak across all generations and all people that have done martial arts. And if you put into it what is expected of you, it's life-changing. So, I mean, congratulations to you. That's awesome. A lot of people think, oh, if you don't do martial arts when you're young, it's a waste. No, like there is no right or wrong time to start. All you got to do is start. One foot in front of the other. Do what you got to do. So, man, that's incredible. That's a testament to your will, and it's an awesome story. And I hope you continue to go further on your goals and lose more weight and get super healthy and be able to protect everybody and and just like be able to enjoy your family.
Oh yeah, 100%. And really what helped a lot of it was doing the katas. Because you have to stand up straight. Everything's lined up. You have to, when you're doing everything, everything's tightened up and you're doing that. That and DDP yoga, doing a lot of DDP yoga really helped me which I love. Yeah, 100%. I love that yoga. I need to do it more. And that's my plan. I actually switched from karate and went over to a MMA gym, not to fight, but just because I like the karate. It got me to where I needed to be, and I'll still probably go back at one time, but I wanted something different. I wanted more moving, and I wanted, she didn't spar. She didn't spar there. Very seldom did she ever, and if it was more of a point style, and it's not like I want to spar now, but we're doing Muay Thai and we're doing jiu-jitsu, and we're doing some boxings and things like that. I kind of stay away from the wrestling because I don't like getting slammed down too much.
It's a lot on the joints.
Oh yeah,
but all that's great, and I think you nailed it. You got to continue to evolve. That's what it all boils down to.
Yeah. So now let's get to the second question. All right. Well, one, because you said this a couple of times, and I actually wanted to touch on it. I've heard you say a couple of times in the beginning of your story, because of bullies and things like that. Did that help you? And did you have a problem with bullies? Because where you grew up, what I know of like the Bronx and things like that, it can be rough in certain neighborhoods and whatnot. Am I wrong about saying that, or?
I think the New York City got a tough rap in like the 90s and the 80s and stuff like that. But I think New York City is just like any other city to me. I mean, maybe I'm jaded because I live there, but there's good and bad neighborhoods everywhere you go. Yeah, there's places in Brooklyn that are very dangerous, just same as the Bronx. And Harlem used to be a terrible area, now Harlem's incredible. So. Yeah. I did not grow up in a tough neighborhood. I didn't grow up in the streets, and it wasn't like that. There wasn't violence in my neighborhood or anything like that. If someone accidentally hit a parked car or graffiti, it was like, oh my gosh, it's a big deal. But there were tough neighborhoods. There were tough neighborhoods nearby. So my school was a public school. So I was more of like the social butterfly as a kid. I didn't really get bullied. I never had an issue with that. I was friendly with everyone. I was nice to everyone. I wasn't involved with like cliques or anything like that. I had friends everywhere. And I think my parents really did a good job of making sure like, hey, be nice to everyone, fit in where you get in and get in where you fit in, one or the other. But my brother was a little bit more reserved, a little shyer. So he was the recipient of some of that. And then he came out of his shell with martial arts. So I never had an issue with that, but firmly stand against it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for actually clarifying the whole, story about the Bronx. Because,
man.
Yeah, because you do get a bad rap about it.
There's places in the Bronx that are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Let me ask you this: how many people live in the Bronx? Would you think? And how big is that area?
Huge. I mean, a couple million.
Really?
Listen, and you got to think New York City is, as a whole, I think now the population of New York City is, I mean, I'd have to Google it, but it's well over 10 million, in just in that little condensed area. So in the Bronx, several million people in that region.
Wow.
I mean, I think the last time I looked at Brooklyn itself, which is the biggest borough, Brooklyn had like 9 million. That number has probably gone up. You got me curious. I got to Google it now.
Because I sit there, it's like you said, it gets a bad rap from movies and things like that. And when I think of Brooklyn, I'm thinking, maybe, 60 blocks, 60 square blocks. No,
no way. Yeah. It is a large area. I mean, New York City is tremendous. So 2020 was 1.427 million in the Bronx in 2020, and I'm sure that number that's gone up. So yeah, it's only going to continue to grow, especially because people can't live in Manhattan anymore, so they're moving out into the boroughs.
100%. So thank you for clearing that up for me, because I didn't know, what your boiling situation was, or, I was the same way. I didn't hang out with just this person or this clique or that, hey, I like Johnny from over here and I like Tommy from over here, and, it's one of those things, you don't get along with everybody, why even try, but you don't have to aggravate those situations. So, we've got a good understanding of, your beginning in martial arts and to where you're at now. What has martial arts done for your life right now, and what are you doing with martial arts? For the people that don't know who Ross the Turbo, I'm just kidding, Ross Turbo Levine.
Yeah.
I just had to throw the thought in there. He's like, stop it.
I can't reach you through the screen, so it's all safe over there.
Yeah. You can always send me a box with a loaded punching bag, glove in it. So when you open it up, it just punches you in the face.
Martial arts has done everything for me. I mean, it's given me all of the tools that I need. It's kind of like my utility belt. Whenever I feel like I'm lost in a certain direction, or I don't really know where I belong or what I need to be doing, I revert back to martial arts. Like, okay, what's next here? And then that takes me in the right direction. But also just discipline, timeliness, being on time is important. That's something that you have to do. Being clean, being prepared, the ability to listen and be coached, and then just work ethic. I always say in Taekwondo, and I'm sure there's variations of this in multiple martial arts, but we had something called the aims to achieve, right? And I still remember this is something that we had to recite on a regular basis. It's courtesy, integrity, self-control, perseverance, indomitable spirit, right? I'll say that again for the fans: courtesy, integrity, self-control, perseverance, indomitable spirit, right? Those are the 5 tenets, the aims to achieve. And those are the things that I try and live by. I use that and I apply it to every facet of my life, and you can't go wrong. Back that behind a good work ethic and some discipline and the ability to listen. Nothing can go, what can possibly go wrong? That you can't find yourself out of.
Yeah, say it again, just to make sure that three times a charm. It's a thing that if you hear something, I think like 3 times, it sticks in your head more. Say it one more time.
Courtesy.
What is it?
Yeah, courtesy, integrity, self-control, perseverance, indomitable spirit. Yeah,
not bad.
Powerful stuff. Yeah, powerful stuff when you really break it down and think about it. So that's really what it's done for me. I live by those tenets, and I apply it everywhere in my life, whether it comes to work, my relationship, my family, my friends, and my my craft.
My sensei, she used to say all the time, and she got this from her sensei. When you're having a bad day, she would always sit there and say, "Are you better today than you was yesterday?"
Yeah.
Because that's all you're trying to live for, is to be better than you was yesterday. Yeah.
So
yeah. So let me ask you a question, and tell people where you're at in your martial art career right now?
I have no idea. I have no idea. There is in reality, there is no beginning, there is no end. So I have no idea. I don't know where I'm at. I know where I want to be, but I don't know where I am. And I think that's the truthful, honest answer. And I think if anyone told you that they knew exactly where they were in their journey, they're lying. You know, this is not something that's ever going to end. So I don't know where on the platform I am. I know this chapter of my life is dedicated towards being, you know, squeezing the juice out of this competitive fruit. You know, so my journey right now is about making myself as, you know, as deadly as possible, essentially. And, you know, as proficient in my craft as I can possibly be. And I think that's something that is important to me right now. But I have goals later on I want to start practicing jiu-jitsu, my post-competitive career. I think that's something that's incredibly important for self-defense purposes, but also just, you know, to free my mind and kind of give myself a new outlook on, you know, self-defense and grappling. And it's something that I enjoy and I want to understand a little bit better.
Yeah, mostly definitely. What has it done for you career-wise now in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I think really the same answer applies. You know, if I didn't have those tenets to live by, those aims to achieve, you know, like I said before, getting through grad school would have been much more challenging. You know, maybe I would have fallen into the pitfalls of going out and partying with my friends and stuff. And I didn't. I was, don't get me wrong, when I was in college, I would go and have some drinks and whatever. I never really experimented with drugs or anything like that. But now it's like, that stuff is way beyond me. I don't drink. I don't do any drugs. Like, it's that I live a very clean lifestyle, and I treat my body with respect, and I get respect back from it. You know. So, but as far as my career goes, that's how I approach every day. You know, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to give it my absolute best, and hopefully, I'm better today than I was yesterday. And that's kind of what I preach to my clients as well. And I instill those. My clients are like my students, right? So even though I'm not teaching martial arts on a regular basis, you know, full time, I look at them as my students, no matter how old they are. And I'm trying to teach them how to live better lives. And that's what I'm getting out of it.
No, that's great. Now, you know, you went from different things using your martial arts to kickboxing. Mm-hmm. And how, you know, I would like to know a little bit about, you know, how you went into like professional kickboxing and where you're at now with karate combat. You've already had 2 fights, right?
Correct.
Are you on your third? You'll be on your 3rd fight, correct?
Yes, sir. Yep. That actually just got announced today.
Yeah. So yeah, trust me, I'm staying up on it. I tell you, people, yeah. I love karate combat because I'll tell you what, right when I was getting into karate, and I've always liked martial arts, is right when karate combat was starting. You know, so it's like, oh yeah, let me, you know. So tell us a little bit about your kickboxing career, and then get into your karate combat career, because you also have the knockout of 2019 or 2020 in 2019. Glory, right?
Yes, sir. 2019
in Glory, right?
Glory kickboxing. That's correct.
So tell us about how you got into that, and you know, what's your fight career record and stuff in that organization, and then let's move on over to, you know, the karate combat, if you don't mind.
Yeah, not at all. So as I said before, kind of continue and piggyback on the story of, you know, my career. I moved to New Hampshire, started kickboxing there, started taking some amateur fights. Eventually I started phasing away from the sport karate, the point fighting, and kickboxing kind of took over. It was new. I was passionate about it. It was a new challenge. I competed a lot. I had 11 amateur fights. So I guess not compared to like the Thais, not a lot of fights, but I tried to fight the best in the region, and I sought out to do that. And I remember at one point there were really only a couple people in the region left that I hadn't fought that I really wanted to as an amateur, but they were actually matched up together. And then one of them got hurt, so that fight fell through, and then the other one ended up having a baby. So they kind of went off in different areas, and I'm like, well, there's nobody left. So my coach said, hey, listen, you're supremely talented. You're not getting any younger. Why don't you go professional? You already work like a professional. You have a nutritionist. You do strength and conditioning. You take care of your body. You train your butt off. You know, let's go get paid for it, at least. Get something in return, you know? So we made the jump, decided we were going to go pro. I had 2 fights, 2 finishes. So I was 2-0 with 2 finishes. And I got a call from Glory, which was way earlier in my career than I expected. Glory at the time, this was 2019, was really the elite of the elite in kickboxing around the world. Some of the guys that I looked up to, fought in Glory: Joseph Valtellini, Nicky Holskin, just a lot of other really, really talented fighters, Rico Verhoeven, like Robin Van Roosmalen. Like, these are guys that I watched, and was like, wanted to learn from. So I got into Glory. My debut was July 2019. Had a crazy knockout. It was knockout of the year. I had another fight again in September that I won by decision. And then I was toted to fight. I was supposed to fight in March 2020. And that was going to be my first international show for Glory. It was going to be in Belgium against a really tough English fighter. And then COVID happened. So at the time, Glory shut itself down, and that fight, everything shut down. So we stopped altogether. I was 4-0 with 3 knockouts. And we were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And then, Glory was starting up again, but they were really just rebranding in Europe, in the Netherlands specifically. And they just weren't really bringing Americans over. And when they did, the few Americans that were left on the roster, they were getting fed to the wolves, essentially. They were fighting top 5 guys. And I think I was competitive enough to do that. But at that stage in my career, it might not have been the best move for me. So, I wanted more experience. I wanted to build, not fight guys that had 80, 90 fights. I needed to build myself up until I learned the ropes a little bit. So I looked at Karate Combat. I was like, man, this is really interesting. It kind of brings my career full circle, because I started with martial arts and then I had to transition away from it because I didn't have access, got my full contact experience. And now all of a sudden there's a professional full contact karate league. It's like, oh, best of both worlds. This is literally built for me. So I sent in an application and they reached out to me and they took me on board. So I had my first fight with them in 2021. And now here we are, 2022. I had my second fight with the Castaneda, which just aired. And they've been phenomenal, excellent company. They treat me well. They are built by martial artists and run by martial artists. So they have respect for the game, respect for the fighters. And I love that. I've never been treated better by an organization. And I've been very fortunate. I've had a good career so far with Karate Combat. So 2-0 with 1 knockout. And now they're putting me in line for my title fight.
Yeah, I will have to sit there and say that the look of Karate Combat, how they put their shows on, even mixing it in with technology, is really something really cool. And I will 100% have to say, I would really like to know how much they pay to get karate.com.
Everybody says that.
I would love to know how much they paid just to get that.
Solid, though. That's a hard flex, as they say. That's a hard flex.
That'd be like getting, jiu-jitsu.com, heck, Coca-Cola.com, that'd be like, let me buy Coca-Cola.com, I wonder who even had, I'm gonna have to look into that. I wonder who even had karate.com before they got it. Somebody had to have it. But
well, I'm glad an organization like Karate Combat took the initiative and said, we need this domain. It is ours. It belongs to us, and we're going to do that. And they're rocking and rolling with it. I love it.
100%. And your last fight with Igor was 100%. That was an awesome fight. And like we've talked about it before, it's not like I'm great friends with him, but, pretty much since Karate Combat started, me and him, always check in at least a few times a month, and he doesn't speak so much English. So it's pretty cool that, you can translate the text through like Instagram. So that really keeps, the way technology is right now, will 100% keep, entertaining fighters and stuff with their fans, because I got to sit there and say this, even though that you're from America, Karate Combat is a world-based, fighting organization. So you got to be having, fans from other parts of the world, and those being able to sit there and, get their texts and stuff translated so they can stay in touch with you and talk to you. It's got to be cool.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
How is your fan base in other places?
Great. Really, really good. I had an international fan base from the sport karate world. Okay. I travel all over the world fighting and competing against the best in the world. I've been all over Europe. The only place I have not been is Africa. But I would love to do that. Hopefully maybe Karate Combat Africa one day. That'd be incredible. But I've been to, and obviously like Antarctica, but I've been to every other continent to compete. So, or not Australia, excuse me. I haven't been on Australia either, but it's on my bucket list. Yeah, I mean, my international presence as a fan base is fantastic. I mean, I take pride in, I try to answer every single message that comes in, every single one in some way. With my manager, Tyson Chartier, manages a lot of guys in the UFC, and the community that I'm around are, some of the best guys in the world, Calvin Kattar, Rob Font. These are guys that are top 5, top 6 in the UFC. And these guys are doing the same thing. And it's like one of the things that I heard Calvin say one time, and it stuck with me. He's like, I don't have to do this stuff. I get to do this stuff. So I was like, man, that's such an awesome way to look at it. And he's absolutely right. And I've always done that. I've always been, if you take the time out of your day to message me,
yep,
I have no excuse not to match that energy, So, and like, who doesn't want people to support you? Yeah. I want everyone to like me. I want everyone to support me. What you see from me is what you get. I'm a confident guy, but I'm confident because I work hard, and everything that I get, I've earned. I've never been the most physical. I've never been the fastest or the strongest or anything like that, but I've always worked harder than everybody. I outsmart people, and it's diligence. So that's where my attitude comes out. But what you see is what you get. Like, everyone knows that I'm not a disrespectful person. I'm very happy-go-lucky. I'm friendly with everyone. So, I want people to support someone like that. I think I'm a great ambassador for the sport, and I look forward to continuing to be.
No, that's actually very awesome. Like you said, anybody that takes time to, it's the same thing with you guys. Anybody that takes time out of their day to talk to me about being on a podcast that's not even out yet. All right. Trust me, I have ADD, this and that, depression and things like that. My mind races like a racehorse.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stumble over words. I'll sit there, I'll be sitting there thinking about something, and somebody's talking. I'll be like, and I'm really trying to learn not to do that. I know that I'm not an ESPN analyst. I know that I'm not, a Joe Rogan. I'm just a dude that loves talking to people, especially about something that I like, martial arts and things like that.
Yeah.
And I want people to learn, from you. Even if you look at my bio on my Instagram, it says, I like to learn from people, and I hope you do too.
Yeah.
Because everybody has a different story. It's like this. You have a fan base all over the world, but it wasn't until Karate Combat that I found out who you was. So you sit there and think there's people that has fan bases all over the world, and you might never know, because you have, like I started talking to this one guy that wants to be on the podcast, and he's a jiu-jitsu dude, like 180,000 followers. And I'm like, some people don't, it depends on what world you're in, right? Are you in the jiu-jitsu world? Or like me and my wife was watching sand dune races, and like there's tons of people out there, and I'm like, that's a totally different world.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who these people are.
It's funny because we think about, holy cow, this guy's got 180,000 followers. How many billions of people are in the world? Like, it's such a fraction of the world. So it's amazing, man. Every fan I get, I'm super appreciative of.
No, and you know what? I 100% appreciate you even doing this, because like I said, I just love doing things like this. And one, you're in Karate Combat. That's a good sport for me. I love it 100%, because even as a kid, there's people learning different things. Karate was always my thing. I always liked karate artists, and man, that last fight, Did you get crap about some of that? Because like I've watched that fight like 3 or 4 times probably in the last week because it's popped up. That's, it's popping up. And did you get any crap, because like they was sitting there saying, well, Igor was trying to lean up, but then they also said the ref didn't stop the fight, or the one part where, it looked like you need him, but you didn't. It was just a really in close kick to the, right to the head. Did you get any crap from that, or you get any slack from that?
No, I mean, I think his fan base was pretty vocal after the fight on social media about, oh, they shouldn't have stopped it, and they should have let Igor keep fighting, and maybe, they're entitled to their opinion. I disagree. I don't think he should have continued. I think the referee did his job and saved it. Listen, every fighter in whether I've seen so many people way more hurt than Igor was, and let's be completely honest, he was very hurt in that fight. He was damaged. He was taking a lot of damage. It was a one-sided fight. But every fighter is going to say, I can keep going. Every fighter, that's not your job. No, first of all, if you ever have the opportunity to say, I'm done, I don't want to fight, you don't belong there. Right. Yeah. So the referee's job is to make that decision for you. Whether it was the right decision or not, that's not up to me. I know that there was more where that came from, So, at the end of the day, like I said in my post-fight interview, I'm there to do a job, and I have to, part of my job is I have to do damage. I have to hurt people. I have to finish people. But at the same time, the human in me I don't want to injure people, right? I don't want to make it so that you can't go to work the next day. I don't want to make it so that you can't go see your family. Like, that's not what I'm about. Right? I'm about doing my job and doing it as quickly and as effectively as possible without taking any damage myself, because I got a family to go back to, and I got a job, and I got people that rely on me, and I have a family. So, I'm doing what I have to do to get the job done and entertain the crowd. And at the end of the day, it's all about mutual respect. So, I think Igor's a tough guy. I think he's going to learn a lot from that, because although he's got more experience in karate combat, he's never fought anyone with my experience. And there's only one thing that happens from that as you grow. So he was a super nice guy. His dad was very, very pleasant, nice people. I congratulated him and wished him good luck. And I'm sure if he keeps up with it, I'll see him again, and he'll have his chance to make it right.
Yeah. I mean, anybody that has a problem with stoppages and stuff like that, you didn't stop the fight. So it's nothing on you. The person that's in, that arena or that cage or that, ring, it's his job to sit there and say, no, it's done. Sometimes fights are stopped earlier. That's not on, that's not on you. You don't have any, say so in that. So Ross, we're down to the third question, and I 100% enjoyed talking to you. And we've covered some of these things, but what's the future of martial arts for you? What do you plan on doing? Do you plan on opening a gym? Do you plan on, just training? What's Ross Turbo Levine's future in martial arts?
Yeah, right now I've got tunnel vision, and I think in order to be successful and to be a champion, you have to be a little selfish, and there's really no room for error when you want to be at that level. So this chapter of my martial arts career is very, very laser focused on just fighting against the best in the world, challenging myself. My immediate future is Karate Combat World Champion. So I have the opportunity to do that on June 25th, and I fully intend on taking advantage of that opportunity. So that is as far as I can see, because I don't know what's going to happen in that fight. The many things that can happen during a fight. Hopefully everything goes well for me, and I can continue on my journey wherever that may lead me. Just in thought down the road, I've always thought about opening up a gym. Right now is not the time for it. Again, I have to be selfish right now, and owning a gym and being selfish doesn't mesh. So maybe later in my life, I definitely want to pick up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I want to learn a little bit more. And I think post-competitive career, there's a lot of options, but I'm just looking forward to kind of taking taking those strides as they come. And I think that's really the beauty of martial arts, is there is no definitive answer and there is no right or wrong answer. You do what comes to you, you put all you got into it, and good things will come your way.
So you got your fight, you said, is it June or July the 25th?
June 25th. We're coming up quick, 4 weeks from Saturday.
You are coming up quick.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, in Miami too, right?
Orlando, Universal Studios.
Orlando. Oh, really? Okay.
Yes,
man, that's going to be good. And I'll definitely be watching that. So before I let you go, and then I also, I want to ask you to tell everybody how they can reach you. But after that, we have the short round trivia. It's 3 questions. If you get 2 out of 3, you're a winner. If you don't, you're a loser and you hit the mat. Now, I'm going to sit there and tell you this. Out of the people that's played this, nobody has won.
Oof.
All right. So would you be ready to, would you do something like that?
Absolutely. Hey, if I win, great. I'm getting my winning on the roll. If I lose, great. I'm getting all the losing out of the way. So
first, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you, and your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, your TikTok, your YouTube, your LinkedIn, whatever. Just give it a big old spew of whatever you would like.
Yeah, the best way to reach me is my Instagram. It's at Ross_Turbo_Levine. That's where I get most of my social media going through. We mentioned the Turbo Sports Performance. I pump all that information out there as well. So you get to see inside my life as a martial artist, as a competitor, as a professional athlete, but also as a martial artist doing physical therapy and helping people. And you also get to see my personal life. So you get a whole blend of that on my Instagram. That's probably the best place to reach me. I do have a Facebook page. Ross Levine is my personal page. And then my athlete profile, Ross Turbo Levine, like you see in the Zoom call here. But those are the best ways to reach me.
Very, very cool. Mr. Ross Turbo Levine, I 100% appreciate you being on here and taking any time out of your day just to come and talk to me. That I have an assistant that is, I don't even know what he's doing now, or me, that makes no sense sometimes. But I like to talk, and I have a fun trivia game. I have a fun trivia.
There you go. You do. That was good. This has been an entertaining podcast. And again, I thank you, honestly, because again, without people like you, I don't have a platform to meet new people, grow in the community, gain new fans, and continue doing what I do, and hopefully be a good influence for somebody. So thank you for that platform. And on a last note for me, again, I said it earlier, congratulations. And we don't know each other, but I can say I'm super proud of what you've done and how you've been turning your life around. So keep doing it. You're doing great. And I want you to do more.
Well, I 100% appreciate that. I want to see you get a gold belt.
That's the plan.
On the 25th,
yes,
man. So hopefully when this podcast come out, I can sit there and put the introduction, belt champion, Ross Turbo Levine. Or I might sit there and say world champion Ross, the Turbo Levine.
Ooh,
just to put that out there. I might. Yeah. And you can't stop me.
I guess I can't.
I'm just kidding. I would never do that. That would just crush my, podcast career. And Dave would actually
I wouldn't have to do anything. My fan base would just torch you.
Just torture me apart. All right, man. I really appreciate it. And you have a great day.
My pleasure.
Don't you ever forget this. It's a cocoa. The sharks swarm around the cyber fire, running through the garden, trying to avoid the vipers. Ready? You ready? Are you ready?